can lie. Alibis get swept aside. I got proof that can't be denied. The data don't lie, people do. Waves crashing, secrets in the tide. Facts and numbers side by side. Through the chaos I will abide. The data don't lie, people do. Look at the records, feel the vibe. Digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do. It's in the matrix beyond the eye. Hard truth that's flying by. Evidence you can't defy. The data don't lie, people do. Look at the records, feel the vibe. Digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. The vibe, digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do.
Well, that was embarrassing. I was streaming away. I don't know where the hell to. But apparently I was streaming away for a whole hour. No idea where that was going. I guess we need to start again. So let's start again, folks. Where the hell do I go? Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Irish. I don't know what the hell was going on. Sorry, stuff up on my part. But hey, at least it's not raining now. Jesus Christ. All right, so where do I need to rewind? I gotta rewind my brain back because like I just went through like a whole hour. Where are we? All right, let's talk about first of all, the Eventbrite. Yeah, I'm a numpty. I know. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be the fucking tech head here, not you guys. I don't know. Some days my brain's just empty. I do have an excuse, right? My excuse is I am so deep in the weeds with writing code and scripts that coming back out of the weeds is really hard. This is just interface level screw ups. It's not really, deep down in the scripts. So yeah, it's hard to pull my brain out of that mode and just get back to normal mode. So I apologize to everybody. Hello to my two super mods in the house. So Kevy, Irish Outsider, and Michelle. Thanks for joining us. Emma Stain. Amherst. I'm not sure how to say your name. We'll just call you Amherst. Rachel's in the house. Hello, how are you? God, I'm an idiot. So embarrassing. Let's just go through some light shit to get my brain back in order. Back to the start. I need to share. What am I sharing? Fuck. That part of my brain's not even freaking working now. Rewind back to the Eventbrite nonsense. Alzheimer's disease. Who you calling old, buddy? All right, let's get to the Eventbrite garbage. All right, here. Let me share this screen. Oh. Let me get my comment up first. Oh, I have to fucking download it. Let me download it, save the image, stick it up, and then I can read my notes as well. Oh, I already have the image. Anyway, not digging for it now. Open it up and share the screen. Downloads. Open it up and share the screen. Performance sharing multiple screens. Yes, I know. All right. I have you guys on real time today, so there's no delay between me swearing at my screen and you guys hearing it. Still a performance warning. All right, remove that one. Fuck that off. Sharing multiple screens. Yes, I can handle it. All right, I'm good. Stop fucking babysitting me. Here we go. Oh, classic Clippy, what are we waiting for? That's a song, isn't it? What we're waiting for is for Ozzy to get the stream right. Don't know where I was just streaming to for an hour, but I wasn't here. Jesus. All right, let me close this other one so that it's not down here in a thumbnail. Is it hide? I think it was closed, but anyway. So yeah, regarding this, you'll probably know what this is, right? So apparently during the Houso's little get together the other night, someone apparently called in a certain type of threat that I'm not going to say on my stream because I don't want to get friggin' booted in the backside for saying bad words. Unfortunately, that's what YouTube does. So you know what I'm talking about. But the problem is that this particular post is ridiculous because Eventbrite is a global multi-billion-dollar tech corporation. They are not going to receive actionable reports like this regarding these types of threats, like the B word type threats. They would just cancel the event. That's what they would do because they actually have civil liability as well. So we know it's bullshit, all right? Absolute, total freaking bullshit. I'm saying this completely different to an hour ago when I started streaming into the abyss, as Michelle says. But I think you're getting what I'm putting down here, right? This is fake. It's not real. Eventbrite would not be sending out an email saying, oh, yeah, we know you got a B threat prior to the event kicking off. That's just stupid. And even during the middle of the event, they're not going to take that civil liability. So what a load of crap. This is just Kate, obviously Kate Peter, crusty panties, pulling bloody fake freaking documents again. Like, we all know that's what she does, right? We know that federal document that she forged to pretend that Turtle Boy, I don't even remember who it was. Was it Turtle Boy or someone? She sent it to YouTube to get their video taken down, but she forged that document. And then she had to admit that she forged that document. So I agree, Michelle. I reckon they did it themselves. So interesting. I think that this is all fake. Most people do think it's fake. Lawyers are looking at it going, it's fake. This shit did not happen. You know, there's things like, did someone send Higgy a letter saying, we know what you did and you all will pay? Probably, but that's not the same as a threat. That's not saying, you know, you should watch your back because we're going to red rum you because, you know, of what you did. It's not really a crime to say we know what you did and your comeuppance is on its way. because legally it is. So, and it would be exactly classic Clippy. It would be against law enforcement procedures to let everybody just sit there and watch them look around for a bomb threat. Oh my God, I did it. I wasn't supposed to say that word. Ah! Anyway, here I'm trying to be real careful and I blurted it out anyway. This way you don't tell Ashby's anything, right? Tell me a secret. It's like, bleh. I'll say it anyway. Anyway, prison is the payment, right? It's yeah. Anyway, so that's first on my list. Nonsense. Don't believe it. Nobody does. You're full of shit. So sue me. Let's talk about the latest filings, because I'd actually have a lot to go through, but I just want to, because I just fucked everything up. I had a list of like backup if we need to kill time till everyone catches up and finds the stream. Nonsense. I was so aiming to be early today. This is so hilarious. Right, let me change this to so we got 3 documents in the latest filings, okay? So Tully filed a motion to quash, all right? So we'll get that one up first. Just a bit that's important. I don't want to read the whole freaking thing. If you want to listen to someone read the whole freaking thing, go and watch Melanie Little, or I don't know, someone. Stop all the screen shares, god damn it. This bit here, just to point you all into the right direction. This is part of Tully's motion to quash. We know what you did last winter. Who hasn't been somewhere when one was called in? Evacuate and go, and exactly. That's it, classic Clippy. So, older than dirt. Thanks for joining us. And hi, Lolly. Sorry if I haven't said hello to some of you yet. Just caught Lolly. All roads lead to Tully. Right. So, well, thank you, Strong Leg. So essentially, I'll just quickly read through this because it does relate to the next bit, right? So he says Karen Reid has twice attempted through federal pleading process to establish a viable factual case against Lieutenant Tully. We know that she's already won one against Proctor. And so he says in the federal action, Karen Reid successfully opposed co-defendant Proctor's motion for pre-conference third-party discovery, obtaining a ruling from Judge Casper that such discovery is not appropriate in advance of Rule 16. So, yay! We got a little bit of news about the federal process there, because we're not really getting to see those things as they happen. You know, it's not streamed, and we're not really up to date with it. So it's good that someone's giving us some confirmation that things are happening there. Having secured that ruling, she now seeks to use this court's subpoena power to compel Tully, her own federal defendant, to submit a sweeping deposition and produce 15 categories of documents on July 8th, 6 days before the federal court hears the argument on whether her claims against him are legally viable at all. And so this raises some questions. This raises some discussion points. So, well, let's move to the next bit first, because they're kind of a bunch of discussion points. So that's what Tully put in his motion. So we'll jump over now to Reid's response to that motion, which is this document. Let me switch my sharing over. I got a big icon up there so you can barely see what the hell's going on. But anyway, do happens. Replace this with this. So in Karen's reply, she wrote, apparently buoyed by the treatment other subpoena witnesses are getting by resisting the depositions, subpoenaed witnesses Brian Tully now seeks, witness singular, now seeks to stand in the same line by filing a motion to seeking to quash his subpoena. And likely other subpoenaed non-parties, the Housos, and Julie Albert, who just didn't show up for her deposition. And you can read the rest yourself, but this is really important because what happened is Gildy pointed those two things out in his response to this. So let me chuck that one up, and then we'll talk about all three of them together because there is a thread. Hang on, whoops. Open Gildia. Quash. Yep, that one. Share that one to the screen. Share that one to the screen. All right, we're getting into the routine now. Okay, so in this one, Gildia says, on or before 12 noon on Monday, 29th of June, defendant Reed is requested to provide the factual basis, which is what we're going to talk about, for the following statements in her opposition. Buoyed by the treatment that other subpoena witnesses are getting, resisting their depositions. What does that mean, and where is she getting? Does she have a factual basis for it? And the manner in which other subpoenaed parties have been handled in this case. Let's talk about those two things, because it happens to be in Mark Gildia's own fucking court where this is on the record. So, and not just in his court, he just ruled on two more. So remember, sorry, mine just went poof. Come back. Remember the other day in court, Gildia says about Colin Albert trying to get out of, his depot. Gildia was like, yeah, not on my watch. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But guess what? Let me put that one up on the screen. It actually did happen. And this is where we're moving into Gildia saying, what is the factual basis for this claim that Karen Reed makes, buoyed by the treatment that other subpoenaed witnesses are getting, resisting their depositions and production, not just depositions? So let's go to the Colin Albert ruling. First of all, and share that one. So in the Colin Albert ruling, he basically he gives Karen documentation of him being a pushover with the other defendants. He has the power to say, no, you were subpoenaed and this is a subpoena and I've given you 2 warnings already. You cannot keep doing this. And then he's got the power to actually put sanctions on someone to stop it from happening. He's the one that set the deadline date. He's the one that's controlling it all. He's the one with the power to make sure everything happens by his deadline date. What's he doing? He's going against his own freaking what he's saying in court. He says, no, not on my watch. Colin Albert's going to be deposed. Now he submits this yesterday for America the day before, but for us yesterday. No, for America, that was today. Sorry, I'm all backwards with my times. So this was submitted today for America, yesterday for us. The motion to compel Colin Albert to attend the deposition is denied. So how the hell does he now come back at Karen Reed and say, what's the factual basis that I'm being soft on the defendants? Well, here's your evidence. For one, all right, he's denying her motion to compel him. So, yeah, how about you just go soft on them, Mr. Gildia? Irish outsider Gildear is a Donegal name here in Ireland. Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. So yeah, and so there's that one, and then he pushes another one through today where he's going soft again. Let me get this one up. On place this one with this one. Here he is going soft on MSP. So in this one, he's recognizing that they've already been subpoenaed. They've already been warned once by him that they have to produce these documents, which is basically what this is laying out as the history of that. And it says, I'm not persuaded by Miss Reed's reliance on Ward versus Peabody. Yeah, sure. Sure, but I think the footnote in the next one sort of just adds to the little collection of Gildia asking, prove the factual provenance of your allegations, Miss Reed. Sorry, I'm slowly getting it up there, which is page B, the last page of this. Replace it with page B, which has the goods on it. And here he says, Miss Reed argues even if the emails are privileged work products, she's entitled to them in the discovery because under Rule 26b3, she has a substantial need of the materials in the preparation of her case and blah, 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 blah. And then he rules the MSP is to produce a privilege log as it should have done a long time ago. Such privilege log is to be produced on order before 3 p.m. So he's giving them another fucking date. All right, he's not saying, look, I've already compelled you twice. I think it's twice. I'm not sure. I think it is twice with MSP. But anyway, he's already saying, giving them another date, and he's basing it on the fact that, well, Reed hasn't produced her log. But they're two different things that he's comparing here. He's trying to say that Reed hasn't produced her log, but in this case, they haven't produced material. Those are two completely different things. And saying, well, no, you haven't either, is not how a judge is supposed to behave, right? We need to see some freaking action. So, to Reed's point, the way everyone's being treated here with kid gloves, I agree with her. She has a point, and if she wants him to put it on the record, it's all in his own fucking court. Read your own record, dude. Anyway, the good bit here is at the bottom. It says, it is hard for me to get too worked up about the MSP's failure to produce a privilege log in this instance, given in another discovery dispute in this case, the plaintiffs claim Miss Reed has not produced a privilege log in response to a request for production served in October 2025. Miss Reed did not dispute the claim, but rather points to Rule 9C conference not yet occurring to talk about the timing when Miss Reed will give the plaintiffs the privilege log. I think it might be strong leg. I think it is a little bit of shenanigans going on here. But the basis on which you want to waste your appealable points is to be argued in strategy, but I think you could be right. What was I about to turn to? Oh, yeah, my notes on this. All right, so there's a significant tell from Gildia here, all right? So Reed's characterization of how the other witnesses have been handled isn't a factual assertion she's pulling out of thin air. It's documented record in his own courtroom that he presided over. So, and it's not just these two ones that I pulled up. There's others that were, those motions have been put forward, motions to compel. I'm pretty sure Julie Albert was one of them. I think Higgins is resisting. Something has come up about Higgins, although it might not be put to the court yet. So Gildia asking Reed to provide the factual basis for describing a pattern that exists in his own docket is absolutely, without swearing, remarkable. I mean, he's got the docket. He was there. What he's doing is a Judge Beverly Canoni. He's like, how dare you? So how many Judge Canonis does he pull before we realize he's not just trying to appear fair here? he's just pulling canonis out of his pocket. So that brings me to the main point that I want to make today. Is there a factual assertion for... Oh, hang on. Before I get to that, hang on. Before I get to that, we need to pull up one more document, right? To begin with, we know that he's kid gloving these people because it was argued even in court that Dilbury Diller wanted it stricken from the record that, people were not complying with their their depot subpoenas. So we know that's on the record. We know Judge Gildia can't pretend as if that's not on the record. So yeah, it's just a how dare you sort of game that he's playing here. I'm the judge. How dare you? So from my last stream where I was trying to give him a little bit of credit where credit's due, maybe this is just a procedural thing. Yeah, nah. That's out the fucking door now. There is no more. This is just procedural crap, right? So when you look at it whether this is procedural or not, all right, procedural correctness and judicial neutrality are not the same thing. So I feel like I was guilty first and foremost of conflating them in my last stream where I thought he was just trying to sound fair. Now he's at the Canoni, how fucking dare you accusation when it's on the record in his own court. I just want to see AJ's face, because I'm pretty sure he already had this planned out from a strategic sort of standpoint. He'd be like, he already knew it was on the record, and he's probably already, he's now seeing these two extra rulings go on the record. So now he's like, oh, you'd like us to document how your court record, where your continued inaction has allowed this to embolden them. AJ's standing there with that hold my beer on his face. So I'm pretty sure he's already got it. Pretty sure he's already got this on the record. So, Judge Gildy has pushed him into it now. Show me where, my rulings are emboldening them. So he indicates that, only the most severe cases need to be dealt with the power that I have to deal with them. Right? So, all right. So how severe do you want it to get? You set the dates. Are we inside those dates? No, we're obviously not going to make the dates that you set. So how severe is it going to get? What do you call severe, Judge? So let me switch to the last one. What was it? The updated one. Which one didn't I put up on the screen? This one. He actually put two of these up. He missed point 3, and I'll get into why point 3 got added. Let me share this screen. Point 3 on that. All right. So in this one, order relative to motion to compel Colin Albert to attend deposition and produce primary documents, he's added a point 3. So point 3 being added in this document, it's all on the same day, but this was not on the last document I was reading to you. So he's added it in 2 different uploads, obviously, to the docket. So in the first one, it was just the circumstances of the death of John O'Keefe and any law enforcement investigation of Mr. O'Keefe. And none of that was really relevant to Colin. He wasn't going to have any texts about the circumstances about the death, or he'd be stupid to be talking about that through text. But there might be a bit of leakage there, I guess. And then any law enforcement investigation, well, he's not going to be talking about, to anyone investigating. So, because he was never questioned as a suspect. So those were kind of like, they were empty until he added number 3. Now he's added number 3. The plan alleged by Miss Reed of the Housos to exonerate themselves and implicate Reed in the death of John O'Keefe. So we're now at this point where he realized the fact that he didn't have it there before and now he's added it. He suddenly realizes that there is actually a factual claim here by adding this third one. So I'll just sort of breeze over what I'm talking about. All right. In trial 1, Canoni allowed Karen Reed to make a soddy defense, right? Third party witness. It's some other dude did it, is what soddy stands for. But that's third party defense. And she's entitled to that. That's her right. I forget which constitutional amendment or whatever it is. I can't think off the top of my head, but it's her right to have that. But there has to be a nexus. So in the I'll probably upset people saying this, but it's the basis for what I'm thinking. All right, get upset if you like, swear at me, I don't care, but this is the basis for it. In the Richard Allen case, his soddy defense had no nexus. Yeah, people said weird shit, but there was no nexus to connect that to the actual crime scene. But there was a lot of shit said that people were like, oh my God, right? But that judge didn't see the nexus, right? So when he appeals that particular part where he couldn't make the soddy defense, it's going to get knocked down, right? Because at the appeals level, it's not the judge we all hate. It's not the same, investigators that we all hate. It's actually the appeals level who are already smacked down one because that judge messed up with his case already the first time by firing his lawyers. So we already know that, that appeals court is going to look very closely at the soddy defense when he appeals that. And they're going to go, no, there was no nexus. But in Karen Reed's case, Judge Bev knew that if she denied Karen Reed, knowing full well that there is a nexus, that the things weren't just people said stuff that made them look guilty, but things were connected between the things that were said and done, and there's actually evidence of those things and done that corroborates it. That's the nexus. She knew that if she denied the soddy defense, then Karen was going to go straight to this appeal court as an interlocutory appeal. So she had to let Karen have the soddy defense. And even in the second trial, she still wouldn't rule out the soddy defense because the nexus is still there. She just ruled against the nexus connecting Colin to any of it. But she still ruled that they could have the third party defense if that's what they wanted. Even though they didn't use it, she ruled, yes, you can have it, but not Colin. Because she didn't think there was any nexus there. Why? Because she restricted the defense from getting the records to prove there was a nexus there with Colin. So now we're in the discovery sort of thing. The same thing applies. Judge Gildia can't go, oh, there's no nexus, so this is completely without any evidence to back it up. Like, this is not a factual basis to be claiming that the Housos are trying to mitigate themselves. He knows that two criminal trials now that Judge Canoni found a nexus. He can't deny that nexus is there now. So that's why he added paragraph 3. He knows the nexus is there. Anyone out there going, oh my God, this is total bullshit, it can't be, there's no factual assertion for it, has to completely ignore the fact that Bev has already ruled twice that there was a nexus for the third party defense. So even the House defendant's defamation case, in that one, they are also ignoring the fact that Canoni ruled twice that there is a nexus for those allegations. So even their defamation case is like stupid on its face, because they have to ignore exactly that there is a nexus, there is a factual basis for the nexus. Judge Canoni ruled on it twice, and to claim that Karen Reid attacked them for no reason and it was all lies, and that even her third party SOTI was all lies, flies in the face of what the two judges have just ruled on, right? Canoni in that one, and now Gildia making it very evident, because his first filing of this particular document did have a number 3 and then quickly updates it with a number 3, suddenly realizes, oh yeah, I better do that. So yeah, this is a point I haven't heard any lawyers actually pointing out yet, and I would actually like them to point it out, because I'm pretty sure that the defamation case against Carney and Reid are definitely without merit when you take that into account, that these two judges already see that there is a nexus. So you can't stand there and go, well, they're lying and they're defaming us by using this information that two judges have just acknowledged does have some sort of factual nexus to it. So so there's that. That's what I wanted to talk about first. Whew, what else have I got? So yeah, the Melanie Little's video. So Melanie Little goes into, Colin Albert's enlistment in the army. So I did a little OSINT project, which is why this whole thing got waylaid for a week. I needed one more final piece of confirmation before I could say I can confirm Colin Albert's administration being accepted into training and hasn't even been given a bracket of training dates yet, happened 2 days before that email. So in the court hearing we just watched, where his lawyer argued, I only found out, when I sent this email that he was accepted and heading off to training. That was bullshit. He only got registered for training in the Army database 2 days prior. I can confirm that, but I cannot show you how I confirmed it, because as soon as I put it on the screen, they're going to sue me. Right? It's not entirely public documentation. The part that I found just through OSINT, like, okay, there's a whole bunch of groups where all the training cadets all talk about their dates and their deployment dates, and they all get batched, all that sort of stuff. You can go and watch Larry's what's Larry's, I've forgotten Larry's channel. You go and watch Larry talk about this, because there's a lot of people giving him information as well, and he's also reading posts on the internet, people who are actually in the army, saying like, this is all batch processed. You don't get individual, here's your acceptance, individually administration entered on the system, individual dates for your training. Everyone gets batched. So the batching is the part that I was able to confirm through OSINT. Okay, it's publicly available information. All those families talk in the groups on Reddit and whatever. So we knew what those dates were going to be, and they line up with another piece of information which I can't show you because it can't be public. As soon as I make it public, I'm going to get sued, and whoever it was that found it, it could probably be traced back to them. We don't want any of that shit happening. But what I can tell you is that Karen's team can FOIA this information through the and yes, Foreman Law DUI guy. Thank you, Lolly. That's Larry's channel. He talks about some of the open source information that you can track this down through. And Oh, sorry, I just stopped myself halfway through a sentence and forgotten what the sentence was. Don't. Sometimes I wish I could just do a little rewind on a live stream so I can remember what I was just talking about before I read the comments. So yeah, that's basically it. There is confirmation he was batch admitted on the record 2 days before that email that they were talking about in court. Not, days or weeks before. So he didn't even have a dispatch date set when his lawyer was in court arguing it. And I'm pretty sure that the people going out for this next dispatch, haven't even got their dates sent to them yet. So liar, pants on fire. I hope if this comes back to, again, strategy, is it worth arguing about? Do they really want to waste their time on it? I don't know, but I know they can FOIA it, okay? This particular branch of the army, which I believe is called the fell out of my freaking head. FSPC. That's the branch he's enrolled in. So I think she can FOIA it and she can use it if she wants to. I don't know if she wants to fight that battle, Does she want to waste her money on it? I don't know. Anybody's guess. So we'll just see. It depends what a theory is and how much it matters. I don't know what a theory is. Do any of you know what a theory is? I don't know what it is. Or how much it matters. So there's that. All right. So that's all that introductory shit for today. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. We did the Colin Albert. Okay, some interesting notes about iOS. Something I've been doing in the last couple of days or the last week or so. So all the videos, I stopped publishing videos. You all noticed I stopped publishing videos about anomalies I found in the binary because I decided to do a deeper dive. I know it sounds like I already did a really deep dive, but I didn't. I can dive deeper, okay? I learnt some more tricks, studied up for about 2 weeks on specific anti-forensic techniques and how to get into those on a deeper level. Some of the stuff that we've talked about in the videos I have published so far in the Karen Reed Was Framed playlist. This is surface level frame analysis, frame and timing analysis. That was all surface level. I did do a little bit of pixel level analysis on a couple of them because I suspected it in those particular files, but now I'm rewriting all my scripts. I'm going back to scratch. I'm doing a full archaeological dig, guys. I am going down into pixel level analysis. So I'm going to do 3 phases. The two phases you guys have already seen that I published some videos on. When I finished rewriting all my scripts for phase 3 that I just learned all this new stuff about in DFI, by reading DFIR community notes and learning from their methods, and also understanding the limitations of their methods. I'm removing all of the limitations. There's no training wheels. There's no handlebars. We are going on the archaeological dig. So, and we're not going to get it from existing software. So I really have to write my own scripts to get the depth that I want to get from it. So then I'll publish some more videos on what that turned out. So I decided to just hold the process. The rest of I got the important ones out there, but we need to start from scratch. So I know this is going to be hard for you guys. Really hard for you guys. Let me switch my database over and hide some things, and I'll show you what we're doing. Let me open the big database, which is in here. Give me 1 second. I'll just sort of show you a whole bunch of information so you can freak out on how much there is. How much I haven't dug into yet is the point. This one here, test data. Yes, in here, Sallyport. This one. Let's go to files and hide a few things in there. We don't need to see that. Oh yeah, share this screen. All right, replace this with this. Let me check what you're looking at. Yep. All right, so this is the database that I'm drawing up right now. This is just the Sallyport files. This is just testing if my excavation is going deep enough into the so I got three phases. Phase 1 is find the files, find where the video frames start in those files, work out all the metrics, dump all the outside shit, like, because we can't look at these files without the exe players, right? And before I even got to this point, I already worked out how to drop all of the exact visions out of the wrappers. So remember I showed you a chocolate wrapper. So I've stripped away the packet around the outside, and I've stripped away the chocolate, and I got us into the GUI center where the actual video is kept. And that was only for exact vision. I couldn't do it with the GeoVision because it was wrapped in a proprietary wrapper, which was restricted to a Windows PE system. But I have lots of different devices here. I've got several Windows devices. I was just too lazy to do it. So what I've done since then is reverse engineered reverse engineered the GeoVision Casey's corner files so that we can get them out of those locked wrappers and analyze them deeper. So I wasn't able to do much on the Casey's corner except a very cursory what's wrong with these files and why can't I see them without the GeoVision. So since then I've reverse engineered the proprietary wrappers, pulled the actual video frames, and so this is what you're looking at here. This is just the Sallyport folder, but now I've got all of the Casey's corner excavated as well now. But let me just switch this over to a different spot. This also proves to you guys that I am not fibbing to you that I know how to write SQL, okay? Let me go do packet audit. All right, see, we've got 900,000 rows of packet audits for just the Sallyport videos. We're almost at 1 million packet audits out of all of the Sallyport footage that I have got so far. That was from, well, that's just all the FOIA that we've got so far, because there was another drop the other day with more Sallyports. So I'll get into that in a minute. But you can see down here, we're up to nearly 1 million files with just the Sallyport packets. And then those packets break down, every single one of those packets, remember, has a group, a GOP, a group of frames that lives inside each packet. And so those frames are all in this database. All right, so every single packet, every single frame. The fact that there are less frames than packets is interesting. That's an anomaly in itself. Okay, so that's what I've been working on, just so that you guys know, like, here's all the information that we need. The ticks, PTS ticks, so the presentation time ticks, the presentation time seconds, the presentation delta, and the delta seconds. All of those pieces, those columns there put together, is how the player gets the OSD, the on-screen display time. When I play, the Sally Port videos here in Australia, the player wants to set it to Australian time plus 10 hours, because that's back to GMT time. But even when I put it to GMT time, the player, like the play bar, says 1 hour difference, because I have a 1 hour difference through DST in Australia, but that's not local to Massachusetts. So when somebody in Massachusetts shows me what they're playing, that's probably the right time on the OSD, and we're all getting fucking confused. They're like, go to such and such a time, and I've got to do a lot of fucking maths in my head to go to that time. So basically, Restream is the app I'm using to go live, guys, just so you know. It's sitting on top of my SQL viewer here, so sorry if that's confusing you. So anyway, this is the level that I went to in the videos I've published so far. This was this level. This was frame and packet level. I explained to you what GOPs were and what each of the frames were, so you should be all up to date with that stuff. But now I'm going one more level deeper than this. I'm going to now unit level and pixel density and a whole bunch of stuff to find out exactly what was replaced. I can't tell you what originally was there because it's not there anymore, but I can tell you what wasn't there that is now there. Okay, so that's what the point is here. I learned some new tricks. I thought, if we do it this way, we can get way deeper. We can this archaeological dig ends up being in, it's like the difference between digging 2 meters deep here in Australia and digging all the way to fucking China. If that makes sense. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm going into this third phase. So in this little research, getting into this phase, I actually found some really interesting information. And this is to do with the iOS system. So when I open this database, this is an SQLite database, same thing that you have on your phone. And when I open it, it opens an SHM table and a WAL table. When I close it, they go away because those are state transition tables. But if you remember on Jennifer McCabe's phone, the 2:27 a.m. search came from the WAL table, right? The WAL table. And then so that made me think, if the WAL table is only ever there when a state transition happens, right now I've got an editor open so I can create records in the table. When I close this, both of those tables disappear because I'm not doing any state transitioning. The tables have been flushed. So prior to remember the okay, try to keep on track here. Remember during trial, Jessica Hyde said this is like a servers in a restaurant. Okay, the table gets served in order, and it goes to the servery where the chef cooks it all up, and then it comes back to the servery, and then it gets put out to the table, right? That's called the commit process. So that was what she was describing to you. But when there's no commit process going on, the WAL table has been flushed and it puts itself away again. It's not there. It doesn't exist anymore. And then when you go back and do a new, record, it will open the table again, do that little process, flush it out, commit it to the database, and then it will close itself again. But on an iPhone, so up to iPhone 15, there was actually a signal that was sent specifically to the Apple side of the coding that says flush everything and close the little wall file and the SHM. Now, I don't know if you recall Ian talking about the SHM. He said he couldn't put the pages back together in any specific order because the SHM was corrupted. And then the wall was obviously corrupted as well because it still had, that attempts to flush it sitting there in the wall. But the reason it never got flushed is because iOS 15 was the first sort of level where even when you turned your phone off, there was still live services that were using the database. So you still had like a almost permanent SHM and WAL file because there was constant action going on, putting files into the SQLite database. So they were always live, basically. Even when you turn your phone off, the Find My Phone app still wants to know GPS coordinates and all that sort of stuff. So, like, iOS 15 was like the first generation of this constantly live, even when you turn it off, software on the iPhone. And so what happened was Jen has, this is just like really loose sort of, a really loose sort of footprint of what I think happened in my head, okay? She has edited her phone records off the phone. She's copied those databases off the phone. I proved you could do that. I got my phone, I copied them onto my laptop. I showed you guys my phone on my phone database on my laptop and used this actual browser to edit some files, and I can do it all. But when you copy it back, that's where the SHM gets corrupted because it's no longer in sync with what the commits that were pushed to the database. It's no longer in sync with them. So that's what Ian Whiffen testified to, that side of it was actually evidence that they were out of sync. And then what she didn't realize is that turning her phone off didn't reboot and fresh everything because all that stayed live. So the live wall, the live SHM, that all stayed live and stayed corrupted, basically. She didn't know that. And I don't know that the whoever was helping her do this knew that, because this was a new feature. This was a new thing for iOS 15. And I'm pretty sure they were in the very early stages of the iOS 15. If I remember on their actual phone records, it says exactly which 15 version they were on. But so it was just on the cusp of that version. So even Colleen Crawford didn't know that the new software was going to do this. And that's how all those fingerprints got left behind, the WAR file and the corrupted SHM. That's how that happened, because whoever was helping her do it, which was probably Colleen Crawford, she's the only one who have that depth of knowledge, how that shit works and what was going to get refreshed. So this all comes back to, we now have some more information about how that works and who had to have been involved in it. So I don't think this was a Maddie. I don't think this was a Maddie's business behind this. I think this was actually Colleen Crawford. Okay, this is anti-forensics specifically, which she studied and teaches to law enforcement. I don't think, looking at the profile of Matt's company, they do software, they do write software, and they do some pretty deep level kind of software, but this level is Colleen's level. So just on the accidental learning how to do all of this, I suddenly found all this other stuff about how the SHM and WAL works, which is not good for Jen McCabe. But anyway, moving on. What's my next thing? So phase 1 is in the folder scan, where we're like mapping out where the video frames are. We've got to try and dump, the videos out of these stupid containers so that we can all say to each other, look at timestamp blah blah at frame blah blah, and we're all looking at the same fucking thing. That's been the most impossible thing. I've got a friend in Germany or just someone in the community on X who lives in Germany. He's trying to look at X timestamp, and then I'm trying to match it here in Australia, and the fucking thing, no matter what I do, I can't get the same timestamp on my screen that he's got. I do a whole bunch of math to match him up. And then we got someone in, the next state over from Massachusetts who are getting a different time again. So this is all necessary. A, to check the timestamps. Do the timestamps actually match what they are claiming they match? Just because the file name says that the timestamp is X, does it actually mean that the timestamp was actually X? Or did someone just write that timestamp into the file name? Is there any data inside of these files that can verify what date? But so in the GeoVisions, we got verification because those actually interleave between frames and GOPs. It interleaves actual timestamps, real local timestamps. So that one I can verify. But these ones here, I can't verify them. So the Sally port, it's done by presentation time. These columns here that we're looking at. So it's done by a calculation on these columns. So move it over here. So what are the ticks? What are the ticks that they're using? How many ticks? And then how many seconds for each tick? Or they're actually milliseconds per tick. And then what's the delta, the offset delta, and then the delta's tick offset. It's a calculation between those 4 columns. So the only way I can verify a timestamp is by saying this is what's stored in the packets and the frames. I can't tell you that it maps to an exact time of the day, but I can tell you if it's missing something or if it's skipping things or whatever. So there's other clues that we can use. So let's move on to that next. The clues that we can use are certainly not the file names. I'm going to show you why Colleen has dumped herself right in it. Where did I put Colleen's documents? Colleen Crawford. Which report was it now? Hash algorithm report. I think it was that one. Oh, I've got it open already, do I? Oh, I got it open already. Cool, I don't have to dig so far. Let's drop that on the screen. Window, Crawford. All right, here we go. So she's dumped herself right in it here. So the one thing I can tell you about this whole screen here is, first of all, this is not the format that was shown in court. Okay, we went through this in my last live stream. What was shown in court were all exe files with the exact vision player. This is not those files. This is already converted to some format that VLC recognizes, because that's why there's a VLC icon there. For those who don't know, VLC is a player, and that's the icon for that specific player. It does not recognize exes to be associated with that player. Okay, so that's the first thing about this. So let's step through what she's doing here. I need to hide that fucker so I can get back to what you guys are looking at. All right. Let me just make this bigger because it's only half the fucking screen. What the hell is going on here? Well, you guys are seeing a lot more than I am. It's all like so tiny in my screen right now. Is it because I got this open? No. Fuck you, Restream. Well, that's a little bit better. All right, now I can see what you're seeing. All right, so this report here is not supposed to have these files, okay? This report here should have the exact vision files here because she's going to hash them. All right? If you're going to hash the files, then you need to have the Exactvision files here, the original files that were originally recorded by the Exactvision system. All right, and they're probably like .eac or XEXAC or EXAQ. I can't remember the exact extension, but that's what they would have been recorded in, right? And then, oh, it's too tiny. We need it bigger. Whoops. Let's make it bigger. Sorry, guys. We can drop that out of there. There we go. Is that better? Probably a little bit too big. How's that? Let me see what you're looking at. Oh, yeah, that's better. You can see it now. So what should be sitting here on this screen when she's about to put them through the hash algorithm bloody woo software is already exported and edited files. There's two reasons I can tell. First reason, because of that icon. That icon should not be there. If she has Exactvision installed on that system, the icon that should be next to those files is the Exactvision icon. And on my system, it is, because this is the Mac version of it. Let me do a little screenshot. Can I? Oh, no, I can't screenshot it. Can't show you the icon for Exactvision. Hang on, let me see if I can do it this way. Exact EXAQB Vision icon, Windows icon. Let's do that. Windows icon, images. Where's the Exactvision Windows icon? No, that's not it. That's the cloud one. All right. Oh, it's just that big X. I think it is just an X. All right. Oh, that's not a good example. It's just a blue X, basically. So that's what should be beside these file names here, is like a blue X for Exactvision. It's a weird X. It's two angle brackets, basically. But that's what it is. So we can already tell those are not Exactvision. A, she doesn't have it installed because Exactvision should have recognized these if it exported them. And B, because it's VLC icons. C, Exactvision doesn't do this with file naming convention. So essentially, with a file naming convention, you get a choice in Exactvision to lay out how you want it to name files. So you would have camera name, date format, and time format. And that's how it will be for every single file. It won't change where one's got the format and then one down here hasn't got the format. And then one over here does have the format. And then this one over here suddenly says noon. That is not how software works, okay? You get one format and it's the same format across every single file it saves. Ring's the same. Ring's got one file format, a one-time format. Theirs is numerical. So you see the Unix timestamp, like a big long number for the Unix timestamp. When you convert that into a date and time, it ends up being this format. But yeah, Ring uses that format. Most of them do use that format. I'll be very surprised if Exactvision saved this file format. So that's what the problem is with this screen. She is about to hash. Remember what a hash is? Hashing proves that these files are the originals. She is about to hash a bunch of files that are not the originals. Does this make sense to you guys? So she's thrown herself in right in it here. Totally dobbed herself in. And so if you read, and it's exactly what she says, right? On October 8th, I imported the following sets of files into Quick Hash software. What did she hash? Her own freaking exports, her own things that she's already dicked with. These are not the original files. What is the point of hashing if you are not hashing the originals? And those are all the clues that these are not the originals, all right? I don't care what images you pull from it. It's bullshit because it's not the originals, all right? That means nothing to us now. I opened the Quick Hash software application. I then selected, just so you know what she's doing here, she's describing what I told you all along was supposed to be accompanying exactly this, these files. When Karen gets them in Discovery, she needs a complete log of what Colleen Crawford did to these files to clarify them for court so that her defense team can audit it and reproduce what she did and still end up with similar hash numbers, right? So essentially, she's already started on the wrong foot. She's hashing her own fucking files. She is not hashing the original files. But what she's doing here is she's describing the process of what she did. That Karen's team can follow this to Kingdom Come, but they're not the original files. It doesn't matter. I then selected the SHA 256 hash algorithm, and it's a very strong algorithm. And it tells us if any changes are made to the hash fold after I hash them, then their SHA won't match. Well, what is the point here? After you've already changed the files, you're hashing the changed files. So of course they're going to match, you fucking moron. They're not going to match the originals that the camera film, though, are they? So, oh, what's going on? Sorry, chat. I'm losing it. Pause. Someone's having some trouble. Audio issue. Is anyone else having audio issues? Are we all good? Shell's audio is good. Everyone else is good with audio. All right. Yes, you might have to just do a refresh or restart your browser, Lolly. So, all right. So is everyone following up to this point what I'm talking about? Any questions, class? Do you understand what Colleen Crawford did here? She hashed her own work. This is not the original files. Audio's good? Everyone's good on audios? All right. I'm going to stop for a quick drink because I need to wet my throat before I start coughing in your ears again. I'll give you time while I'm drinking if you've got any questions. This is just so... I don't even know how to explain this. Like, the amount of fuckery. I'm just going to have to steal EDB's word for it. Because the amount of fuckery right here on the first page of this, or first 2 pages of her report, is crazy. And the problem is, Judge isn't going to know. She doesn't know what the fuck a hash is, or when it's supposed to get hashed, or what it's supposed to get hashed. But this also comes back to... Oh, Gilday, sorry, corn paper. I seen you write that on X. I was like, oops, how many times have I said Gildia? So I want to call him Guardia. I'm sorry. And you know what? Kevin was trying to point that out too before and I skipped right past it. He was probably trying to point out that, no, that's not how it's pronounced. Aren't the original file... The original files are not available. Okay, so under the FOIA, since you brought it up, Bran, the FOIA... This came out in FOIA, by the way, that the FOIA files... There's another set of rules. So there's a set of rules in the criminal trial that are applicable to digital evidence production in Karen's case, and I was bitching all the way through the trial that Massachusetts didn't adopt the federal rules of evidence for digital, or just rules of evidence full stop, but they do have a rules of evidence on the digital files, and they did update it before Karen's trial. So there are rules that apply to how this was supposed to be done for Karen's discovery materials, for that discovery to have been met, okay, without the hashing the original files, the original binaries, not this shit that Colleen's playing with, that the original files from the original machine recordings, they never met their discovery. All that time they were going, yes, we've met our discovery, we've given them X, Y, and Z. Well, they didn't, because that discovery requires them to give it in the original format. Under FOIA, it's a different thing. It's the format that we're requesting it in. Okay, so if we're requesting the files that were used in court, like that were used as evidence against Karen Read, if that's what our FOIA is requesting, then we should be getting that from a FOIA request. We should be getting what they showed in court, and we're not getting that. We're getting whatever they had in court transcoded again a third time for production for FOIA. So I'm going through like a more tight version of what we should be requesting from FOIA, because we're not getting it here. This is not meeting the rules of FOIA. The rules of FOIA apply to the original binaries anyway, but because we haven't been specific about the original binaries, they've been non-responsive. We're just getting copies of retranscoded over, I don't even know how many dozens of times. So we're going through that at the moment, just working out what was the wording of the original FOIA that this came from, and whether or not that should be tightened up to specific language so they can't worm their way out of it. So I think, like, we have, look, at the end of the day, Karen should have had the ultimate power to get the originals, because she was in a criminal trial for her fucking life. So if she didn't have that power, and we somehow get more power as FOIA, just as public people asking for the document, asking for the originals, well, that's fucking backwards. But I very much doubt that that's the case. Jack's with us. How's it going, Jack? Ripper YouTube, guys. So, let me just read all your questions, because I'm getting all carried away again. Larry Foreman struggled with it. That's why I typed it there. Yes, we're all struggling with it. Sorry. Gilday. If I was Irish, I'd have knew that. Girl. It's all good, Jack. No, I just killed a lot of time getting to this, because I thought, I fucked up to begin with and was streaming somewhere else for an hour and didn't know you guys weren't even here. Had to start from scratch with a new stream, and so oh my god, it was such a mess. So no, it's all good. You're just sort of tuning in at the right time. Where were we? Thanks for explaining the FOIA thing. How frustrating. Yeah, well, so there is some frustrations there, but we'll get there. Like Corey Hopkins, Queen, she's doing all the hard work. She's doing all the heavy lifting. She's the one that's doing all of, the appeals and trying to get it all to come through in some sort of reasonable time. And they're just struggling. So they're never going to meet. No one's paying for any of this. They can only charge you. They can only charge you if they produce it in the time frame that they say they're going to produce it, which is still a limited time frame according to the FOIA rules anyway. So no one's paying for any of this. It was somewhere up around $7,000. That was going to cost someone to get all of this, but we're getting it all for free because they just cannot produce it. Well, they're trying not to produce it, so it's kind of a self fulfilling own, if that makes sense. If they just sent us the file that they used in Discovery, right? We just get the copy that they handed over in Discovery, but plus or minus some redactions of kids and number plates on a couple of files. If they just did a copy and put that into FOIA, then they would be producing everything on time and they'd be getting their $7,000 worth. Because they're fucking us around and going through all these multitudes of fucking jumping through their own fucking hoops that they're making for themselves so they can hide shit and retranscoding, and like they got to sit there and wait for all of that shit to do its thing multiple times over for every fucking hour of footage. They're not meeting their fucking time, their time limit, so they're not getting their $7,000. So it's like a full self-own. Do you get what I'm saying? They're just cutting their own noses off to spite their faces. But anyway, I just wanted to go through that side of it, that Colleen Crawford has totally dumped herself in it, because what she's telling us here, she's telling on herself, telling on a bad self. None of those files were written by Exact Vision. And that's how we can tell just looking at them visually. But now we've got copies of them. We can also see that we're not written by Exact Vision. They're missing the metadata that's written into the headers. They're missing the time. They're missing the fucking everything the Exact Vision attaches to them. They're missing all the data. They're completely stripped. So there's another FOIA rule that applies to the metadata. Not just the original file itself, but the metadata. If you have stripped the metadata, then you are not, non-responsive if the metadata is not still attached. So, thank you, Shell. I just realized you sent the Exact Vision logo for me in Discord. Accidentally clicked on the wrong button and saw it. But so there's different rules that go with FOIA requests. It's non-responsive if the digital files are stripped of the metadata, which all of these files, every single one of them, how many have I got? I've forgotten how many. It's 150 or 200, over 200 files here if you're including all of the ring cameras from the front and the driveway. I think it's like 287 video files, I think, all up, and not a single one has got metadata. So there's that. that actually equates to non-responsive FOIA. Even if we did mess up how we worded requesting those files, they're still non-responsive because they got no metadata. So could Karen use your findings in a civil trial? If she wants to. She needs an expert, though. She needs an expert to dig it up. I've given them all the clues. They know what to look for. They're not doing it blind. And, I did roundabout ways try to get the reports to Karen Reed's team, and I did get confirmation that they have the reports. Whether they want to use them or not, I don't know, but I know they got the reports. It's up to them on strategy whether they want to use them, but I'm about to update it all too, because it's very complex if you're not a technician. I wrote them for a technician, but I realized after I sent them all, I showed, a couple of friends the reports, and they were like, get the fuck out of here. That's like French. What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, oh no, I need to rewrite them so that they all have a plain English cover sheet. And then the tech can go, this is the technical part, what I'm looking for, but this is the cover sheet for the lawyer, so they know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I need to rewrite everything and maybe send it through again. I don't know, but yeah, so I'm working on that, and that's why I'm doing a completely new set of scripts as well. So I want to dive in like a lot deeper and provide a lot more information on this new stuff that I just picked up. So now, what else did Colleen Crawford do to herself? Let me just have a look at my notes. Okay, we covered that part. Whoops, that's not what I want. Covered that, and we covered that. So let me just read that. Yep, we talked about that. We've got the location. Yep. So the timestamps when you set them in Exact Vision would be like camera name or location, and then YY/MM/DD for the date, and then HH:MM:SS. That's how you would set the timestamps for Exact Vision. That's how they would get written to every single file. So just to make sure I made that clear. And none of the files here follow that pattern. All right, so we covered all of that. All right, next topic. I had so many on the list, and I'm still only going to get halfway through them all today. So, didn't she totally miss Karen's vehicle? Oh yeah, she did. In one she actually did, for sure. So I showed you in the last thing, Cassie's Corner Bids. You want to see what we've got on Cassie's Corner Bids? Not yet. I'm not ready yet. I mean, I've transcoded them a couple of times, but I don't want to show you transcoding. What I want to show you is actually what's in there. If I just transcode them out of their stupid GeoVision player, I'm just doing what Colleen did and not showing you what's originally there. So I'm almost finished on the mission, dropping them out of those GeoVision proprietary AV wrappers. Almost there, and these are original frame by frame copies, like hashed copies, but original of Colleen's fucking stupidity, not original GeoVision, that camera at friggin' Casey's Corner. So, but I'm almost there, and I will drop them out, and I'll put some timestamps on them so that you can see it properly without the GeoVision player. Here's what else I learned. This is how I know Casey's Corner is not straight from that camera. Is the OSD. So when I did my first video upload on the channel ages ago, when we first got the Casey's Corner, I was like, look, see that timestamp? That's not native to GeoVision, and look at that. That's not native. And look at the OSD burnt onto the screen. That's not native. But part of that was because everybody else didn't know how to get it out of the freaking software, basically. So I think someone screen recorded the two things separately, like the timestamps in the GeoVision player are separate to where the actual video is in the screen, in the little application. So then they cut it up so that you could still see the video, but the timestamp was sort of sitting next to the video. So someone did that and uploaded it to YouTube so we could actually see it, but that's not how the video was naturally. Naturally, the timestamp is interleaved in the frame packets, and that's how the little separate time clock is reading the time. And so when you remove that thing that they had to do so that we could see it matched with the time, you're left with the OSD burnt in the screen. And when you're using software like that, the OSD, so you've got your OSD timestamps, your on-screen display timestamps, they can be burnt into every single frame if you want it so that they can't be removed. Or you can just package it with the player and it's interleaved timestamps with the player clock. Or that's just leave it at that. Those are your two choices. You can burn it in or you can do it that. But with the menu, the general menu in the software, I want camera 2, I want this time frame, and I want these settings, export. So that menu system should not be burnt in because that's actually not part of the export process. These are pop-up windows that are outside of the video container. Does that make sense? So getting those menus burnt into the screen like that, timestamps, you expect that because the software is written to do it, but not these menus. So in the Casey's corner where we can see the menu sitting on top of the screen, that was a screen grab. That absolutely 1000% was a screen grab. Now that I have dug into the software and I've reverse engineered their drivers, the DLL files, and how it does everything at that proprietary level, I can say for 100% that OSD is not burnt into the Casey's corner camera 6. There was camera 6 and camera 7. I don't know if you guys knew there was 2 different camera angles. One's just looking at the ground. But the one that we were all interested in looking at the road was had the menu system burnt into it. So I pulled it apart. I've gotten the pixels out frame by frame, and I've worked out that those are burnt in through a screen grab. So busted again, Colleen Crawford. And I know it's her because we've got like all these emails and things going back and forth, and then her, her production stuff here going, I got this set of files and I did this with them. Puts her signature all over them. So we're not guessing anymore. We actually have the FOIA documents to tell us who handled it all. And as I said, the only person who handled literally every single piece of digital evidence, different cops collected different things from different places, but who handled it all? Colleen Crawford. So she's the common denominator here. And the fact that it's a common pattern, the same fingerprints, the same tooling methodology, the same multiple tool artifacts, like she's gone through, she used one program to do this to the file. Then she moved it to another program to do that to the file. So we have this multi-tool process in all of the files. And that is, even though she might be choosing different tools, so she's not leaving that kind of fingerprint, she's still using the same methodology. It's still multiple tool fingerprints. So we have that pattern. This is not different people are doing different things to different files. We have that solid pattern across all of them that points back to one handler. And now we know the handler because that's what this verifies. Well, not just this document, but there's one of these for all of the files, basically. So yeah, that's what we have for linking Colleen Crawford to literally everything. Let me just go back. Where's my list? Colleen Crawford, Colin Albert, Lexus ping data. So we did get some FOIA drops on the Lexus data, but it was non-responsive to what we actually wanted. I want the actual Lexus data. I don't know if it was, there's 2 ways that could have come about. It could have come about because Karen has every right to get her own personal data from Lexus servers. Even if she opted out, I learnt this along the way, even if she opted out of the customer side of what Lexus servers record at their end, whatever she's got a service whatever she's got her phone or whatever connected to her car, it's still transmitting back to Lexus servers. And they do that for insurance companies. It's an insurance. It's insurance for the insurance. So she has access to that data because it's her car. Well, actually, it's not her car. She was leasing the car, so she might not have access to it. I probably made 2 big jumps that I shouldn't have made. She might not have access to it. She might have had to subpoena it, so the company who's leasing it gets it from Lexus or something like that. So maybe she doesn't have it. So I don't know who submitted this as evidence. I just know Yannetti mentioned it in pretrial hearings that the Lexus pinged in the Sally Port. So I need to know, whose data that was. We have subpoenaed the MSP, or Corey's the best one. Sorry, Kyle is the best one to tell us who we subpoenaed for that. Was his subpoena records that I asked him to add it to. But so if it wasn't them that had that data, then it will be, that provided that data to Karen's team, then it will be Karen's team who has it, and it won't get produced in FOIA. So I just wanted to address that because we're still waiting on it. We still don't know where the freaking hell it is. Yeah, the insurance company can get it, exactly. But does she have to subpoena the insurance company to make them go get it? I don't know how it works with leases. If she owned that car outright, she has access to that data. Lexus can't say, no, you can't have your own data. But because it's on a lease basis, it's something different. Pretty sure there's different rules. What else have we got here? Colin Albert, iOS HM, we went through that. The software that I'm writing, we went through that. Okay, cool. We got through what we got through in an hour and a half. We're doing so good. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, hang on, wait a minute. Forgot to put notes down for that. Hang on. Let's talk about this. Where the fuck is it? Helena Rafferty. Chief Rafferty. Share this. Is it a new share? Nope. There you go. Haha. I love it when things actually fucking work. Okay, so we're talking about exact vision settings. So for those who don't know, I did get hold of a free version of exact vision server. The server so the one that shipped with the Sally Port files, that's just the viewer. There's a server version, like this whole fucking complicated server version. And I got it, I installed it, and I worked out how it all works. And I actually tried to set up a virtual camera system so that I could capture some fake recordings, but just see how it saves the data, what's the metadata it saves with it, and all that sort of stuff. So I got some information from doing that exercise, and from that information I can tell you that Helena Rafferty is full of fucking shit. No wonder she wrote lol. Can I be a pain and get you to go over the Colin stuff again? I was listening but not watching, only if you want to. Why didn't have it? I didn't show it, Michelle. So if you were waiting for me to show it, I didn't show it because I don't want to I don't want to get sued. Because the part that counts, for me to show you the receipt, I would absolutely get sued because it's not entirely public information. Anything that I can get through public information, I can show you because it's public. That's why it's called public. But I can't show you what's not public, basically. I can just assure you that eventually it's going to be public, okay? And you're going to go, oh, yeah, that's what Ozzy was talking about. 2 days before the email exchange saying that Colin couldn't make his depot. 2 days before that is when when his admission records were entered on the system. Karen should ask for a taint team to go through phones. Can't trust anyone. No, that's exactly right. Yeah, I just have to. I don't often ask you to just like trust me, bro. I don't often do that. I do like to show you my receipts, but this is not one of those times where I'm willing to get dragged into fucking all the bullshit that they're doing. You know what I mean? Okay, wetting my throat. So with Helena's note here, she says, that's just how it records. Lol, no tampering. The problem is when you've got a system, when you've got all your stuff all hooked up to the same system and the same dude is the one running the whole system, then why have you got shit fucking backwards on one camera and not on another and all this fucking weird shit going on? Tell me why. And I'm going to connect the dots for you in a second. Who do you think manages the Sallyport cameras? So let me find that document next. Where are we? Colleen Crawford. We did that one. Extracted frames. AMR, that's voicemail recordings. Clarified video. Clarified from the police department. No, not that one. Sorry, I downloaded everything, so I just got to work out which one it is out of all of these files. It's one of them. Oh, is it the one I already got open? Let me just look. Is it the one we just did? That's all just hashing it. Split screen. Hash. No, it's not that one. So it's this one, report 10. So pretty sure it's this one. Yep, this one here. Can I actually word search this one? Let me just check it's in this one because yes. All right. I thought it was this one. Have a look at that. Who manages it? The honest one, right? Nope. Louis Dutras, the same one that provided this, the library footage. And remember on the stand, he disavowed it. He was like, yeah, no, that's not what I sent you. He disavowed what they were trying to present as evidence. And they didn't even use him to enter this as evidence. So that foundation was missing. And Judge Bev didn't even force it. And yet, whenever, we did this last live stream, whenever defense wanted to do that, she was all like, well, I wouldn't let the other side do it. And she fucking did. So that's who it is. So we'll go through this document in a little bit more detail. It was good to learn this, because what we know is he disavowed the town footage, because that's not the way that he produced it. We've got his emails and his methodology in his email. Like, it was requested. He did it this way. He produced it with a password in the exact same fashion it was supposed to be done. So Judicial knows how to operate this system. And the entire point behind knowing how to operate the system is that he knew how to set up the timestamps, how the system saves the file names as timestamps. He knew how to do that. Yet what we see between the two systems, right, the town hall system and this system, they are not consistent with each other. Sure, they're separate systems, but it's the same dude running it. Why wouldn't they be the same type of timestamps across the board? So, there's some conflicts here with Helena Rafferty's bullshit, because if you set your entire system to mirror, or you just set one to mirror, you're doing it because it's parked upside down. Okay, here's an example. Your front camera is sitting on the wall, so it's sitting upright, so it's filming, it's recording in an upright position. But you flip it upside down and hang it off your eaves and point it out in the same direction, then you need to flip it vertically. If you have it sitting sideways off your wall, so that it looks out past your downpipes, for example, you've got it sideways off your wall, then you're probably going to have to do it horizontally. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's different orientations, which is what it's supposed to support, different orientations of your camera, so that when you're recording being looked at by yourself, or security looks at your footage, it's the correct way. Okay. So that's why Judicial didn't put a proper upright camera on mirror. All right, because he knows what he's doing. Stupid people like Helena Rafferty going, oh, I can get away with saying that. They can't prove it. That's true. She can get away with saying it, and they can't, and nobody can prove it unless you deposition Louis Jutras and ask him what the orientation was, because as we're about to learn in this document, that they replaced it. That camera was replaced way early in the piece. So let's read it. So in July 2024, I received each Exact Vision proprietary surveillance video file within the proprietary layer that was previously provided to Lieutenant Tully and ADA Adam Lally. We just looked at it. It was not the proprietary layer. It was not proprietary layered footage. All right. Proprietary surveillance. All right. Proprietary player. Bullshit. Okay. Where is it? Bullshit. Hang on. Here we go. Bullshit. All right. Lies. Upon review of the interior Sally Port front wall camera, for those who don't know, this was not produced in trial 1. That's why there's a 2024 date on it. And look at the date, like when it was produced, April. I think it was May. Wasn't it May? Oh, no, 2025 was May when we kicked off. Yeah, sorry. Fuck, it's all a blur. So this was never produced previously in trial 1. Upon review of the Sally Port front wall camera, I observed this camera view to be extremely dark with minimal detail visible. Why, Colleen? Why? I increased the font size of the date and timestamp overlay, and then I burnt that into the player so that you cannot see it. And changed the color of the font from dark blue to white. That is not true. It's actually, there's an override in the foyer. That might be in Karen's, but in the foyer, there's an override. It's still blue. It's actually written into the XML, so I can't change it when I'm viewing it. I then played each of the proprietary interior. See, proprietary, she is acting like these are the native binary files that were provided by Judicial, and we already know they're not. Front wall camera surveillance video files with the proprietary player. As I play back each proprietary, how many times do you want to say it? It's a lie every fucking time. Just because she keeps saying it doesn't make it true. I played back the surveillance video. I captured the video with Move AV screen capture audio. What? There's another software. Actually, the one software, remember we did a software FOIA, okay? The software FOIA was everything that you use to produce the evidence in Karen Reid's trial. Move AV was not produced. It might be open source, so I'll look it up in a second. If it's open source, then it's the way we worded the FOIA again. We worded the FOIA, every single license and subscription. And if it's freeware or open source, it's not going to have either of those. So I'll look it up in a second. But she did a screen grab. So she played it in the surveillance video player and screen grabbed it. And so all of a sudden, what she produced in court is not the evidence. It's a screen grab. Do you understand? It's not the actual evidence. And so now she hands it over to the defense. It has no metadata because a screen grab is just going to tell us, oh, Move AV screen grabbed it. That's how she stripped all of the metadata. So the exact vision fingerprints, the timestamp fingerprints, even if they were interleaved, the timestamp might be interleaved. I don't know. I still am working out how exact vision does it all. But we're going to nut it. Don't you worry. We're going to get there eventually. So all that gets completely removed. And it's the same reason that we weren't going to use a filmed copy from the courtroom from YouTube, because there's no metadata. All right, that's still on the actual file, the original file. There's no metadata associated with it. So it's the same thing. So here she's admitting to I never gave the true provenance evidence to the defense. A direct export from the proprietary player would result in a converted surveillance video file with no date and timestamp, as the timestamp is a text overlay only visible within the proprietary exact vision layer. So she's saying the excuse that I'm using to do a screen grab is because exact vision doesn't have an option to burn the text layer in. And that's bullshit. That is not the reason that she did it. Exact vision actually does give you an option to burn in the timestamps. So that's section 83. That's monol kind of material. I'd be using that. I'm not planning, how to win a monol legal case here, so not my call. I'm just saying, if I was doing it, this would be some of the strongest reasoning, because you've got this binary evidence that things were changed, and you've got outright admission that she did it this way to avoid detection. Does that make sense? So this is some of the strongest evidence. This is more than someone said something. This is like, forget what they said. Look at the fingerprints. We've got a multi-chain tool print. We've got no metadata. Both of those are non-admissible evidence. We still get into, in a criminal trial, what if I want some of that evidence to come in because I need to use it to disprove some other thing they said. So there's still some issues there, how they're being forced to use it because it supports disproving some of their points, but at the same time, that this is not the original footage. No one's ever seen the original footage except obviously Colleen Crawford and obviously the prosecution. So as far as a monol claim goes, I'd be using it because this is not a standard digital evidence production. This is her admitting that these are not making excuses for, but not admitting not doing it the way you're supposed to do it. So I captured the video file with MoveAV, changing the converted file name to, see, she changed the file name. She's saying that that's how it recorded. That's the way the exact vision recorded it. That's a lie, because when this was recording, the camera didn't know it was this fucking O'Keefe case, did it? All right, it's just going to say which camera and the time format that it records in. So the fact that it says O'Keefe in the file name tells you that no, this is actually not the original recording software. Canton Police Sally Port, this time format. So see how these underscore, 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 no underscore, no underscore. It's all so fucked up, right? This is just her fucking naming convention. Plus she's also admitting that she named the screen grab that. So we can go into all sorts of detail, but I think you get the general idea what we're talking about here, okay? She is lying through her teeth, and this is the proof of it. Once the exact vision proprietary wall camera surveillance video files were digitally captured, converted, and archived to my computer, it's now fucking ruined. And that's what we turned over in discovery. Nah. Is what she's saying there. The rest of it means nothing because she's admitted basically that this is not the original footage. So when you look at this one, we will play some of it because I wanted to show you some interesting things. This is how she changed the to make it viewable. She changed the hue, saturation, and luminance. That's bullshit. This is the original recording, and this is not. All right. This has nothing to fucking fix This is a flat black image, okay? You can apply all the fucking luminance and everything to it all you like. There is nothing in there to fucking illuminate, okay? She did not get that. She did not get that from a fucking black screen, all right? Full stop. That's not how it works. So this is how it recorded, and this is how they obfuscated it. That's what I'm getting at here. But anyway, this is backwards. So let's open this up because there's something else here I wanted to point out. So you got to look at some points here. See this like white line down the side here? There's some clues about what sort of camera this is. I'm just gonna go through it one at a time so you can see. That's just where the cameras are located, just to prove to you this camera's upright. So why is it fucking recording mirrored? So see this one up on the roof? It's coming out from here and then on an angle, so it's still upright. So there's no reason to mirror that one as well. But also these are both the same type of camera. So I actually do have better pictures of it. She's got really shit pictures of these two cameras, but they are literally the same fucking camera. All right. And the reason that that's significant is because this one here, I got to remember which way they're oriented. So this one here on this wall is, there's the tool chest, so that's on the other side. Okay, so that's that camera there. All right, that's that camera. And then the other camera looking this way is on that back wall there. So you got one on that back wall and you got one over on this wall. So the one over this wall is all dark and everything. This one over here is the one where we watch them all doing stuff on the car. All right, so the dark one's over here. Now, the reason I say look at this is because I'm now going to show you what this actually ends up looking like when you do it the other way. When you apply darkness, brightness, HSL changes, you can make it darker and completely ruin the image quality so that nothing can ever be brightened or lightened from it ever again, but you can't do it the other way. From a completely black screen to this doesn't happen. So let me just find what we're going to play for this. So I got to open the player, ePlayer Pro, and I have to drop that in there. Open. Which one is this? GMT -5, so 5 p.m. Sorry, I got so many files to freaking find shit, eh? And everything's in I do have my folders organized. It's just that I end up creating copies so I can work elsewhere on something, and then I end up with 20 copies and forget which one's which. Interior, Sallyport, back wall. That's one you haven't seen. But I'm just going to show you the problem one first. 5 p.m. That one there. Open that. And I've got to make it bigger so that everything can be seen. Share that screen. All right. Replace that with the player. All right. Now I'm going to press the play. You can already see how this is all warped like this. Oh my God, isn't that beautiful? the issue that I've got with this is fakery to the absolute max. I'm going to explain to you why I think that is, and this is why I want to drop them out of their wrappers and really get to the heart of the whole issue. This looks like analog. This is tracking. This is an analog camera having tracking issues, is what this looks like. Very common in old VCR cameras that record to VHS videotape. You can introduce this kind of interference with an old analog camera using like a bit of hardware in between to convert it to digital so that it can be recorded by the Exact Vision or the VMS that you're using. There's lots of different ones, but in this case it was Exact Vision. So you can use a capture card kind of setup where that analog camera that normally would do old VHS tape recordings records in analog, and then it gets transferred to this capture card, which converts it to digital and then puts it into the Exact Vision player. You can have this kind of interference in that kind of setup between the camera and the capture card. And sometimes even the capture card itself introduces an extra variable. But the problem that I've got is that those cameras are not, they're all digital. You don't get this tracking fucking bullshit happening in a camera that's analog. Okay? When you look at the photographs of the two cameras, the one on the far wall and the one on the opposite wall, they're both digital cameras. They are not tracking. You don't get tracking issues like this in a digital camera capture, right? It's not fucking rocket science, Colleen Crawford. So I just think that this is completely out of the ordinary. Plus we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5. Well, technically we have, because some of them are in different formats. So let me just count them all for you. From the Exact Vision camera, okay, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 videos totaling what's supposed to be like 14 hours of footage from one day, and then 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. So another 24 hours from another day, technically, is what it's supposed to be. So on the 28th, we've got perfectly normal, what looks like what I just showed you, her screenshot in the PDF. Nice clean image, not bright, certainly not as bright as hers, but without all of this tracking warped shit going on. So we've got 12 hours straight of this perfectly aligned sort of bad quality, but at least not no tracking problems and all that sort of shit going on like an analog camera has. It has a little flicker here and there, but that looks like as normal as you're going to get for that camera without her fucking with it. So you got 12 hours of this like uninterrupted recording like that. And then all of a sudden, when Karen's car pulls into the Sally Port, it's all fucking warped and it's darker, it's glitchy, it's all fucking all over the shop. There's complete, if I keep playing it, there's a complete fucking black screen, like it totally went offline. It's not even digital. This is not digital fucking, this is not how a digital camera records when it has these kind of connection problems. But it all happens here in this first couple of minutes. The car, you just start seeing the front end coming in and then they cut it and it drops, I forget what it is, 50 minutes, and then it's parked in there. And this is just not normal for this camera. I'm going to switch to the 28th and show you what actually looks normal for this camera without whatever this is, because it's not this. Any minute now we get to that jump where the 50 minutes is missing and the camera's now and the car's now parked in there. And we know that this is not motion activated because the minute the car comes into view, we'll look at a couple of examples of the cop cars coming in. As soon as it comes into view here, it's in the camera's sense of vision. That's what triggers it to start recording. But that's not what we see here. Look, see here? That is a fucking analog signal. Completely black screen with grey dotted lines. That's an analog signal. But this is not an analog camera. Look, there it goes again. Completely black, and there's your 50-minute chunk. Well, not yet. Your 50-minute chunk is coming up. Oh, yeah, that was it. That was your 50 minutes missing chunk. There it is. Up to 6. I got to turn over the timestamp. This is what I was saying to you about why I dropped it. Had to drop it out because I set it to local time. We've got to do a lot of fucking maths here. GMT -5. So this is 5:06 p.m. on the 29th. Eventually we'll get where the car gets pulled in. I know it's in the first 5 minutes of this recording, unless I picked up the wrong one. I'm pretty sure it is this one. But just get used to what it looks like here, because what you're going to see on the 28th is nothing like this. It's still bad, but it's not like this. There's another screen, completely black. See how it looks like analog TV? That's not how digital cameras go offline. There you go, bam, and the car's in there. Do you see the car's in there now? Let's just move it back a bit. Right here. And then bam. All right, so that's not motion activated issues. That's deliberately been cut. But as for all the tracking analog looking crap, let's open. Let's open the 28th. This one here. This one's recorded in .ps format. Oh, I might crash it here. All right, see, already you can see the difference, right? It's not like completely dark. This is supposed to be, let me just change the timestamps to GMT -5. So 4 a.m. So this is like 11 p.m. at night. And the other one was like 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So I don't know. How do you explain that? Lighter footage. Looking, a little bit more like she screen grabbed this sort of, white edge on the frame. But let's press the play button and watch it play through. So there is a little wobbliness going on there. I'm not going to say that's not consistent with a bad connection on a digital IP camera. But this is, if we've got 12 hours of the footage looking like this, then all of a sudden at 5 p.m., we're looking at this completely different fucking thing going on. That indicates to me that something else is going on. And besides the fact that we can already see that this is supposed to be a digital IP camera that doesn't have tracking issues. So one of the things that I did I did some experiments with the AI, because AI can actually make videos now, right? And they can analyze videos and shit now. So I sort of did a little trickery with the AI, and I said to the AI something along the lines of, if I wanted to create, if I had, say, digital IP camera recording, and I wanted to make it look like it had analog artifacts all the way through it, what sort of tools would I use? Point me in the direction of software apps that can do that sort of stuff. And the AI was like, well, I can do it if you want me to. And I was like, no, I just want to know what software I would use if I want to produce it. And it come back with a list of different, softwares that I could use to apply a fake analog looking recording. This is still playing, by the way. There's no jumping around and stupid shit going on with this screen. So I'm just going to leave it playing just so you can see that there is none of the shit that happens later in the afternoon is happening in this at all. So anyway, I got the names of, the software that I could do this sort of, it's After Effects. Okay. You just go and install different types of plugins for your After Effects, for your Adobe Premiere, and you can apply effects. You can apply digital moshing. I did a whole video on moshing. You can apply this like static type stuff that you expect on a TV screen. You can apply, the analog like faulty connection type stuff. You can do all of that with plugins in Premiere. It's not just Premiere, but that was the main one that comes up with like special effects is definitely Adobe. They've got the widest range of plugins for different things. But then what I did was I took, 2 6-second samples of this footage, and then another 6 seconds of footage from the other one that I just showed you with all the shit going on. And I said to the AI, all right, now tell me which one I changed. Tell me which one's digital and which one I changed. And it very clearly picked up the difference. It very clearly picked up that this one here is digital and the other one was the analog edit, basically. So that was just a little experiment. I don't know. I don't tend to rely on AI when it comes to this type of analytics. What I would rely really heavily on with AI is writing code, because they are code. So when you have the code, writing the code, you end up with pretty much what you need to, but it's not always, it's called vibe coding. There's not always what you need. It may be like over the top, like way complex, and you probably can't understand what the fuck it wrote and why it did it. Nonetheless, it's definitely more reliable than the way it would assess, what video should look like on a IP camera, a digital IP camera versus a analog. But it did actually accurately pick up the differences between the two. Excuse me. So that was just an interesting. I'm coughing because I'm dry. I need to make a coffee, so I'm going to carry these into the kitchen while I rabbit on a little bit more about this. But you are noticing that we don't have, a completely blank screen happening here anywhere, and it's not too jumpy, it's not too dark, it's all pretty what you would expect, right? Where am I going to put you down so I don't drop it? Over here. It's a bit louder next to the air conditioner, sorry. So take a 5-minute break while I make myself a coffee. A 5-minute, not even 1 minute break. So what you'll notice while you're watching is that the occasional glitch, but mostly this is at least legible, right? I could apply the luminance and the hues and the brightness and contrast and get a better picture out of it. The way she's describing in that document we were just reading. And we could probably get something at least half legible. But we can't do that with the 5 p.m. Video because you can't go backwards. If it's already dark and already you cannot see anything in the image, you can't go the other way and lighten it and all of a sudden all the detail jumps out. It's already destroyed at the recording moment, if at all this camera was doing that. I very much doubt that that's the case. But so on the 28th, and this is what we noticed, like no matter what evidence we're looking at, is on the 28th, there was no reason for him to hide anything. So it's all just like pretty normal, what you might expect. Same with the ring camera footage, right up to when John leaves and goes to the pub for a drink. Bar, you guys call it. We call it a pub, but same thing. Everything looks normal in, all the ring camera footage. There was, 30 of them that day leading up to him leaving with, I forget the guy's name. I've forgotten his name, when he left to go to the bar. But in these 2 or 3 videos where Karen Reed's reversing out that morning, comes back with Jen and Kerry, all of a sudden, there's footage missing of her arriving home. There's fucking weird shit going on in all those videos. And then Karen's out of the picture and back home, back at Dighton, and bing, all the camera footage is good again. It's not skipping. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, same with, so what I'm trying to point out here is that these are only during windows of critical evidence windows, is the point. Everything seems to be fine until a critical evidence window, and then it's all blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm trying to point out. So let me just finish making this coffee while you watch the screen. Also note, there's nothing moving. There's literally nothing moving here. What's triggered it? Why is this camera recording? If it's motion activated, which, if we're talking about an old analog camera, then no, it's not motion activated. It's just recording all the time in very low quality to save disk space. But if this is motion activated, right, which is the excuse that they gave for the jump times, like 50 minutes missing and blah, 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 because it's motion activated, what's fucking moving here? Still making coffee. You'll be back. I'm just about done. All right, coffee's done. Let's get away from this noisy air conditioner again. All right. So, anybody seen what's making the camera, like, what's triggering it to record here? They've been getting away with this for so long, they forgot how it's supposed to be done. That's the optimistic outlook. got milk for me. Because like to me it's like they've been doing it for so long that they know exactly how to make it look legit and get away with it. They literally lie about everything, Rachel. Agreed. Did they try converting digital to analog and then back to digital? I don't even think that's possible. Honestly, I do not think that that's possible. There's a way that you can apply analog effects, but if you've got a digital recording, you could, I guess you could, I don't know. Yeah, you could put a digital onto a VHS tape, and then the tape itself creates the tracking problems. Does that make sense? But if you just convert from digital to analog, I'm not sure I know actually the process, how that would work. Let me ask it. Let me just Google it. Let me take the easy way out. Nobody in their right mind would do it, but if you were trying to hide evidence, yes, you can convert digital video to analog, because modern digital formats like HDMI, SDI, USB, they're not formats, use fundamentally different signatures than older analog RCA, S-video, or component. Oh, it's the hardware, yeah. You cannot just use a simple cable. You need a dedicated digital to analog converter. So the answer is yes, they could, but it won't introduce all that signal problems. The adapter translates the digital code and timing into continuous wave-based analog voltages, and it has a resolution limit because you're moving a legacy format. High definition HD signals will be scaled down to standard definition, typically 480i. You can use a digital to analog converter at, oh, you can purchase them. Okay, radio. Well, there you go. You can, but just doing a conversion doesn't reduce the quality and introduce tracking signal loss and all the stuff that we see going on. So they got complacent. It's unavoidable human error or lazy, aka why I could never be a criminal. Far too lazy. Yes. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's laziness. I think it's they've got away with it so many times that this is what they do and this is how they get away with it. They don't need to go the whole hog because they're not first timers. They didn't have a judge who was going to scrutinize the evidence in any way. So I don't, it is laziness, obviously, but what you can get away with over and over and over again is part of what creates the laziness. I mean, I'm anal. I would be going, if I was going to do all of this for what reason, I don't know, because I'm certainly not going to try and frame an innocent person, but if I was going to the effort where I want to convincingly pull off a pretend analog camera footage, I'm going to be anal about it and I'm going to do it so that no one can track it how I did it. So yeah, I'm not your lazy type of, I'm going to dress it up like a mule the lazy way. I'm going to go the whole hog, but it's crazy to see the massive Operation Onion as it unpeels. It is. It's been definitely been an eye-opener for me. But what I appreciate about this project is that if you want to develop something like the scripts that I'm writing, you have to introduce all the problems that you're going to have, that you can potentially foresee, into your program or into your sample set of videos, in order to be able to to reliably detect, all the possible scenarios. But what we've got here with this footage is literally the worst case scenarios of fucking everything going on. It's got the anti-forensics patterns, it's got the AI patterns, it's got the splicing patterns and macro blocking. It's got the fucking works. Like, this is the worst case scenario. So if you want to, write a full application that does some type of, forensic sort of audit on video footage, this is the sample set of files you want to build it on, because it's got the fucking works. So yeah, that's one of the benefits, I guess, of having such a huge amount of destroyed data. And then there's other things that are, part of the analysis is looking at, what's the critical window. So we know there's several critical windows. We know there's the moment John O'Keefe was murdered. That's a critical window. So you want that, hour covering that window when we think he may have died. You've got another evidence window, which is the leading up to Karen Reid and the other witnesses, whatever you want to call them, suspects, all rocked up and found him. So there's another critical window. Then you've got another critical window. I'm trying to think, what else did we have that was all messed with? Well, those are your two main critical windows, right? All the data, all of the video footage outside of these two critical windows is all perfectly normal. The days, I think we've got 28th from the Ring camera footage, and also after the incident, like, people coming and going from John's house after they worked out that he was that he died at the hospital, and they all went back to One Meadows, and Karen went back to Dighton. There's that window. Oh yeah, that's the other window, the Dighton, picking up the car at Dighton. There's another window when the car was seen there. So all the critical windows have weird stuff going on in them, but where there is no weird stuff is not a critical window. So this is the same thing as what I was explaining before about if you've got a camera sitting at the library, two cameras sitting at the library, two completely separate cameras. You've got two completely separate cameras at Sallyport. That's 4 different recording devices. Although 2 of them are connected to the same exact vision system. So you've got 4 different devices and 2 different systems. Then you've got Casey's Corner, which I believe is completely independent because it's got a POS system on it in the database. So Casey's Corner is a 4th different camera system. And then you've got Peckwasit Farm, which is a Town Canton camera system, also exact vision software, and that's also run by Lewis Jutras. Are we up to 6 different CCTVs now? We've got the Ring footage, or it's not Ring, but the footage at the camera at Mr. Reed's house, 7. And then you've got John's 2 cameras, 8, 9. And then you've got, how many are we up to? I think we're up to 9. So you've got 9 different devices 3 different dash cams. So that's 12 different devices, completely separate to each other, completely independent, separate systems that all fuck up during critical windows. That's not normal. So you can explain away an isolated case. This is what's happening with Judge Gilday right now. Haha, I got it right. Judge Gilday is like, you could treat what he's doing as an isolated event. In isolation, he's probably doing the excusable procedural thing. But we're not talking about isolated events anymore. We're talking about things that are happening for 4 years now. They're not isolated anymore. They all happen in unison, in conjunction with each other. And so the same thing sort of applies with the camera systems. You could just say, this camera we're watching on the wall right now, it's as an isolated event. It just happened to glitch when Karen Ree's car drives in, and we might be able to see the fucking tail light. We are now, 20 minutes through this recording, and nothing's triggering it, and it's pretty sort of regular, the same pattern all the way through, right? Yet for some reason in this window it glitches out. So in this critical window, then you go to Peckwisit Farm. That you've got a critical window at Peckwisit Farm, which I can drop into the player now and show you. But what happens is, in that critical window, Karen's car is already driven past with Kerry driving behind them. And I believe Jen's driving, Karen's in the passenger. You can't see that in that footage, but they're in the car in front, and then Kerry's right up their ass all the way. Meaning she can see the fucking tail light in front of her, right? But anyway, about 4 minutes later, there's a full fucking glitch. There's a full glitch where the footage completely changes. I'll drop it in just to show you, in case you haven't seen. I'm sure I've showed you all before, but I'll drop it in. God, I got so many programs open. So anyway, I think we've proved what this camera looks like on the 28th, right? And it looks nothing like what it looks like on the 29th when Karen's car's driven in there. So there's that demo. We will come back to it, but let's go now into Peckwisit Farm driveway, 45-ish. Hang on. It's really frustrating that the player timeline doesn't actually show us playtime. I have to do it by minusing the time. What time am I looking at? This is 5:15. So 45-ish. Somewhere here. Pretty sure Karen's already gone past. Or she goes past at 45, and then this other thing happens. One way or the other. We'll work it out. This is also flipped, by the way. This is something that you can tell with the flipping, right? This is, okay, a couple of things, right? Colleen just said that you couldn't burn this in. Well, that's burnt in. So it says main driveway camera right there. But if that wasn't burnt into every pixel, Hang on, I'd better make sure I know which one I'm talking about because I've got so many videos. There you go. I turned the camera name off. See? It's missing an E as well. Sorry, I was going to tell you the reason we can tell it's flipped is because that sign's backwards. It'll come up shortly. Sometimes I can scroll to it, and other times I can't. This player is really fucked up. This is why I've been trying to get it all out of the players. I mean, I can get the timestamps and things more accurate, but also I can frigging seek to spots that I know are in the timeline. Oh, come on. Oh, I think that's Karen going past right there. Nope. But it is here somewhere. Oh, is it here? I was waiting for the car to go past. Oh, there it is. I was waiting for the car to go past so you could see how long after that car was, but then I'm going to make you sit there for 5 minutes watching the snow. So, but this is what I was trying to bring to your attention. Look at that. Where did the snow go? And this is about 4 minutes after 4 minutes after Karen's already passed this camera. So for those who, missed it beforehand, I've showed it to you multiple times. And I think I even clipped it and put it on X. But some of you probably haven't seen it. So, but yeah, how weird is that? So this isn't just a gradual change. There is a gradual lighting change between some of the frames. But then we've got 12 identical hashed frames. So each of these pictures, they're PNGs. This camera records sequences of PNGs. When I drop the PNGs out of the footage as single pictures, they all hashed. That means every single pixel is the same in 12 different frames. And this is a sudden stop to pelting down snow, blizzard snow, to blizzard fucking snow, to what the fuck is that shit? Snow doesn't just stop like that. Plus, this is a different time of day, so you can see the dawn, the sky. This is a dawn sort of scene here. You can see the sky in it. And then what's that? That's some weird fucking shit. So yeah, there's another window. So she was aiming for Karen's car going past, but she missed it by 4 minutes. So what she clipped out and cut either side here, she missed it. So, where did you get that video? This video, hello 51st State Refugee, thank you for joining us. This video is Pequisite Farm. This came in the foyer. So anyway, I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. I do have a breakdown of where I can see the cuts in the footage. with the timing of the PTS and the skips and the jumps where those cuts happen. But I'm doing a much deeper search on this one because I think that is way more obvious that it's been cut. Other ones are a lot less obvious where the cuts are. And you really have to get into granular detail to see the difference between one frame and the next, whereas this is pretty fucking obvious. So but anyway, what did I sidetrack for? Oh yeah, this is a critical window. Just pointing out that when footage does weird shit like this in critical windows and not any other time, that's when you know it's no longer coincidence, right? It's deliberate. So all these devices have similar glitches and similar fingerprints and similar problems all in critical windows. That's not a device problem. That's a human interference problem. So, and back to I pressed the wrong button. Back to this because this is the end of the presentation. Sorry. All right. So we basically have Colleen telling on her bad self, essentially. We've got, you can't go backwards from this. There's absolutely nothing, no matter what you do to that, to change the colors or the brightness or the dark. You cannot change a black thing into this, which she says she did. That is just not possible. You can do it the other way, this way that she's claiming, HSL filter in Pegasus Pro, and also Vegas Pro. Vegas Pro is not listed in our software. We asked for all the software used to produce evidence. Vegas Pro didn't show up in that list, did it? So that's an issue. Non-compliance with FOIA. After clarifying the Sally Port footage from the front wall camera surveillance video file, I saved the corresponding Vegas Pro production file. I applied the same clarification steps to Vegas Pro production file archival steps to each of the following converted interior Sally Port front wall camera surveillance videos. And she's got them all in WMV format. And yet what we've got produced is EXE and PS format. She's all fucking sideways confused about everything. I then rendered and archived each clarified surveillance video file to a folder on my computer titled Clarified in a universal file format known as WMV format. Another piece of software she didn't produce in the thingy was supposed to be a Windows Media Pro version 9. After clarifying, rendering and archiving each of the converted interior Sally Port front wall camera surveillance video files, I extracted 1,214 still images from the clarified. Why? But why? Why wouldn't you take the images from the original footage and clarify the fucking image? Why? This is all fucking backwards. Jesus Christ. I then generated 4 split screen images. Who fucking cares? With what? Adobe Photoshop. She got busted in that one completely. I provided ADA Laura McLaughlin and ADA Adam Lally with all of my fucking bullshit. I've got some clearer pictures of these two cameras too, by the way, which you can clearly see they're IP cameras. They're not fucking analog. All right, here's some interesting stuff on the Exact Vision. Yeah, that's useful. Useful as nothing. System police video. Hang on, do we have a timestamp? Oh no! Look right here. So that's how it recorded the time and the date, huh? It says camera ID. I don't think. Hang on, camera. Yeah, camera ID, and then device ID. It's really blurry. I'm just trying to like analog input. Look at that. It might actually be analog. Actual resolution 20 frames per second. H.264 camera ID. Actually, I actually got a whole bunch of clues here that I can use later on too. So that's a mess. Ah, look at that. Original footage formats. Possibly. Or, oh no. That list there actually proves that you can import files and re-export them for Exact Vision. That's what that's proving. That's Vegas Pro B. That's not Exact. That's Vegas. Because Exact is that weird X. That's Vegas Pro. Yep. Oh, whoa. Shit. That one's supposed to happen. Wrong button. Actually, it's not Vegas Pro. Because, oh, yeah, no, it could be. I'm still trying to work out what the hell I'm looking at. Because this player, when you look here, this player looks like Exact Vision. And that timing thing, that looks like Exact Vision. But up here, it's got a V on it. What the fuck is this V? Interior Sally port. Front wall. Look how dark that is. Yeah, that's your police thing. And it is mirrored here. That is backwards. But that's just a setting here, up here in this menu to flip it. I don't know enough about hooking one of these up to tell you if any of these are analog input plugs. I don't see any RCA, but these are all black. So there might be RCA, but just with black. Usually they're red and yellow, I think, normal RCA cables. So there's a lot more there to glean information from. After capturing the photos at Canton PD, I spoke with Lewis Jutras, the system. Lewis Jutras stated that he installed surveillance video cameras and set up the Exact Vision DVR system at the Canton Police Department. I asked Mr. Jutras if the interior Sallyport front wall camera that I just photographed that day was the same camera that captured the vehicle in question. The vehicle in question in the proprietary Sallyport front wall camera surveillance video files. that were previously provided to Tully and Lally. Judicial stated that the camera that I just photographed was not the same camera that captured the vehicle in question in the proprietary front wall surveillance video files. He stated that the front wall camera was defective, so he later swapped this camera out with a new camera. He discarded the front wall camera that captured the vehicle in question. After photographing the Exact Vision DVR system, I physically accessed the Exact Vision DVR system. I observed that the original proprietary surveillance video footage still resided on the hard drive of the Exact Vision. In 2020, it still wasn't Karen currently arguing on the 24th of July to get access to this? I played back the surveillance footage from the dates in question and observed that dark visual quality of the system that were previously provided by CPD. So I did not extract any surveillance footage from the system at Canton PD. I returned to the Norfolk County DA's office and archived the photographs. That's it, page 10. That's all we got. That's obviously cut off. That's obviously not where that report ended. Anyway, so that is all very interesting. So Crawford tried to edit video showing the taillight prior to it being damaged by MSP, but she missed the tow truck video showing only a cracked casing. That's right. So all this file format swapping loses more data. That's correct. Trauma Llama, you are very on the mark there. All right, so we basically covered everything I wanted to cover. There is one more topic, but it's not on all of this. I saved it for last because I thought we could probably do with some downtime. So we have spent so long on just the Karen Reid case. Then we've got the offshoot civil cases. Then we've got the Aidan Carney case, the witness intimidation case. And then something came up, which has been blown up, just totally blew up on the internet in the last, couple of weeks. That is very similar to the Carney case. So, everyone's like shit-faced because this blogger had the hide to report on this case and get his face in everybody else's faces while he was reporting on it. There's another case called Reckless Ben versus Bricks and Minifigs. I was going to get into it because it's a similar case. It's down brain time. No one's dead. It's a lot easier on it's just a lot easier on the brain, you know what I mean? Like it's a bit of downtime from the Karen Reid case, something different. It's still serious, but no one's dead, so there's that. Although someone is dying, so it's still quite serious. So anyway, here's the rundown. You can tell me whether you're interested or not. All right, the rundown is as brief as I can possibly make it. So this guy's father spent 20 years of his life collecting this, what I think is actually one of the world's biggest Star Wars retro collections, Lego collections. This is stuff they don't produce anymore, so you can't buy it anymore. But he spent 20 years building up this collection, and I don't know if you know what collectors are like. They're very particular. Like you have to keep your original purchase still in its wrapper. You can never look at it. And I don't know how the fuck they do that because I want to get in there and I want to play with the Lego and look at the wrapper. I mean, look under the wrapper. I want to pull the box apart and have all the bits out on the table and play with them. So, but he was very strict with his collection. He didn't unwrap them. He didn't open them. So this is a pretty legit retro Star Wars collection and one of the biggest in the world. So it's worth a lot of money. And he got cancer, from what I understand. I don't necessarily know a lot about his side of the story, because this isn't really his story. It's his son's story. His son decided to help him pay for chemo and treatment for cancer, and a few other things that he would like to do with his dad's savings. He tried to sell the Lego set, so he gave it to a store. Bricks and Minifigs is a franchise store that trades in retro Lego or secondhand Lego, a bit of everything Lego, and mini figurines. So, the little peoples that come in the Lego sets. Minifigs is what is mini figurines is what minifigs stands for, and bricks is obviously Lego stuff because you can't use the word Lego. But anyway, so the son commissioned his not commissioned. What's the word? Consigned his Lego to the store for them to sell it on his behalf. So the store was like taking, I forget the figures, and I'm going to get more detailed the deeper we get into the story. I think it's like the store wanted like 15% and the rest was his, or maybe 25% and the rest was his, some split like that. And so every sale, the store kept some and the rest went to him. And they had sold, I think, somewhere in the vicinity of $20,000 to $25,000 worth of Lego when that franchisee, her husband was offered a job overseas. And they were like, holy shit, we can't do both. We can't be tied to a contract with a franchise store as well as, work overseas. So she spoke with corporate, Bricks and Minifigs corporate, and said, I want to change. I want to, I don't know if she said sell the store or sell the franchise. But yeah, convert the contract in someone else's name, basically. Thank you, John's Burner. 65-35 split. I'm just doing a sort of a rough outline of how it all came about first, because I'm just interested if people want to jump into it. And if they do, I'll get into the actual figures and pull it apart proper. But this is just the rough sort of 10,000 foot view, okay? So anyway, yeah, so she rings up, corporate and says, what can I do to get out of this contract? And she wasn't actually saying, I want out of the contract right now, let's do it today. But that's what they did. They said their dude in and went, we're taking over the store. You're getting out right now, or we're calling the cops. So she's desperately trying to, work out. She needs her spreadsheets and her till receipts to be able to keep track of, to be able to take home with her what Lego was his and what stock she had in the store that's still hers, but they just weren't having a bar of it. They just kicked her out on the spot. So instead of, just ringing up to see where she stands on what she can do with the contract, she just booted out that night. And from what I understood, there's still a lot of Lego that wasn't sold, still sitting in the store in safes, locked in safes. So we come to find out that the son who commissioned the Lego, consigned the Lego to the store, he works out, hey, my Lego's still there. You're not part of the store anymore. What's going on with my Lego? And then so he goes into the store to the people who just kicked her out, going, where's my Lego? And they're like, what Lego? We don't know what you're talking about. What Lego? Nobody knows what you're talking about. And then because he was because he was persistent, going like, I want my Lego. I either want my Lego or I want, some assurity that the consignment still stands with the new owners. I want something going on. And they were like, no, get out the store. We're not talking to you. And so they blocked his phone. They trespassed him. They blocked his phone. They wouldn't talk to him. It just went from there. So when he was taught, he recorded some of the conversations he had with them, trying to sort it out with them before they blocked his phone number. And one of the conversations that he recorded, it was something along the lines of, so sue us. It's going to cost you more to sue us than, getting your Lego back. So sue us. So basically, he was stuck between a hard and a place because between a rock and a hard place. He hadn't told his dad that this is what he's done with his Lego. His dad was in hospital. He didn't want to stress dad out. His dad's in hospital, or whatever they call it. I think, no, hospice is end of life care. But I think it was close to that, And he hadn't told his dad, basically, what's going on. So he couldn't, so he was just stuck between a rock and a hard place. So he decided he would go to someone, one of the bigger YouTubers, to shine a light on it. So he picked Reckless Ben. Reckless Ben went, holy hell yeah, this is an interesting story. I don't like what these people have done. Let's find out where your Lego is. So that's where the story starts. And it gets way more interesting from there. But where we are at right now is where Aiden Carney is at. They're trying to say that Reckless Ben harassed them, that it's all defamation, that it's costing them money, blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of the same situation as Aiden Carney. He's facing, many more years because witness intimidation is a serious offence, whereas Reckless Ben's facing, I know they're just going for RICO at the moment. They're trying to get a RICO. Like, they're trying to say that Reckless Ben and the guy that owns the Lego, his son, so it's Mansell and Ben, and the previous store franchisee are all involved in some sort of extortion racket, that they're trying to extort bricks and minifigs, that these Legos never existed. They don't know what anyone's talking about. And so they've now filed a RICO suit against them. So how did we get there? That's what I thought we'd get into. Interesting case. I think it's fun. It's Lego. Law tubers seem to be liking the case as well. There's actually a whole bunch of different law tubers. Like, we got used to the same law tubers in the Karen Reid case. There's a whole bunch of different law tubers who I like and respect their work. I'd like to get into their perspectives on this case, because this is a little bit of both civil and criminal as well. So there's the there's the civil side of it, which is the RICO and the defamation, and right now there's a TRO. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. And then there's the criminal side of it, where, as Trauma Llama's pointing out here, Fort County Police make Canton look super smart. I don't know. They're on par. They're on par. Their investigation, their excuses, the techniques. I don't know. There's some stuff that's on the same level going on here. So I think it's a very interesting case, and I'd love to get into it. What do you reckon? We've got a lot more. There's just so much. There's all that stuff going on, and then there's CoffeeZilla reached out to both sides, and he got Crystal and Ben's paperwork from the store, or what paperwork she could recover from the store. They've got her ledgers. Then they go over here and they talk to Bricks and Minifig Corporate. They got their paperwork, and they're cross matching the numbers and trying to work out what was where when the store was took over. And CopyZilla has actually uncovered the biggest lie of all, which it's very interesting how many fucking lies this minifigs and corporate, bricks and minifigs corporate are telling all the way along. It's just one lie after another. And then the Fork Police Department comes out with all these public statements, and it's one lie after another that is completely disproved by their own fucking officers' body worn cameras. It's crazy. It's fun. It's Lego. So it looks like some of you are familiar with the case. So, but it's just something different to get our minds out of the rabbit hole that we've been in for 4 years. It's time to pull out and get to get some, what do you call it, variety in our life. Even though I'm going in way deeper with this software. So so that's because they loaded the Lego into a U-Haul that night and took pictures to show the Lego wasn't in the store. That's right, Kazan. It's exactly right. There's a lot going on. So yeah, what do you reckon? We cover it? We get into it? Because I'm still a little ways off getting some producible videos for this little change in direction that I'm doing right now. So I'm going to talk about something in the meantime, and I like it. And I like Reckless Ben. I find him to be a likable character. Even when he's wrong, he's still a likable character. Where I think he goes wrong, like there's a couple of like nuances. For those who aren't familiar, there are some of his video channel got like completely took down when the TRO came out. He had like 2 videos up. But he's able to put some of the older stuff that he done not related to this case back online. So he did a whole like infiltrating Scientology series. So that was where you sort of get used to what Ben's personality is. And then there's the I can't remember the name of the mansion. What is it? It's a haunted mansion. Starts with M. I can't remember the name of the mansion. There was like an infamous haunted mansion that he actually proved didn't even exist. It was just some dude torturing people. There was no mansion, but people were in it, and they were. I think there was a prize or something if they could last the torture. If they could last being frightened, having the pants frightened off them, they would get 20 grand. But he was literally torturing them, so no one ever got through the challenge. What's the name of it? Mackie or Mackay? I can't think of the name of the fucking mansion. But anyway, they were the 2 where you get used to sort of Ben's like antics. You know how Turtle Boy's got his antics when he's out there in the field and he's filming stuff. He's got his personality is part of the antics. And it's the same with Ben. He's got his own style and his own way of doing shit. But even when he's wrong, they're in Mormon territory. Yes, exactly. But the one thing that he gets wrong each time, and I'm like, oh, you got that wrong. You're going to get yourself into trouble doing that. Even though I like him, and I even like it when he's wrong, because he just takes it on the nose. But like when you get into like a phone contract and people say to you, you're supposed to read the fine print. So that's common knowledge, right? We know that if we sign a contract, we should read the fine print because we might be agreeing to something that we didn't realize we're agreeing to until, crunch time. So that's very common. We all know you got to read the fine print. that the problem is Ben's kind of moving into a different territory. Rather than you're supposed to read the contract before you sign it. Before you even get there, in commercial law, there's a thing called an offer to treat. And he's skipping the offer to treat. I'll explain it to you. The process to be engaged in a contract, you have to make the offer to treat, and then the treat is express or implied what it is that you are offering the treat to, and then only after that you can offer to sign the contract. You both agree this is the thing that you're agreeing to, and then you agree to it and sign the contract. So this, you offer to treat, the contract, and then there's a few rules. You can't contract with a intellectually disabled person, an underage person. There's a whole bunch of rules that go with it. And the thing that Ben's doing wrong is he's right. You have to read a contract before you sign it, or you don't know what the fuck you're signing yourself up for. That part's right, but he's got the invitation to treat part wrong. So he's creating a tort by not doing that part right. So the invitation to treat has to be express or implied. If I come to you and I say to you, delivery, bunch of flowers, need you to sign, then the offer to treat is a bunch of flowers. You are signing for a bunch of flowers, right? When you sign it, you're agreeing to receiving that bunch of flowers. And that's a bit that he's missing, because his contracts are never a bunch of flowers, all right? His contracts are always, you can't sue me, you can't trespass me, and you can never bring the cops again, or stuff like that. So that's where he fucks up. So he doesn't understand the commercial steps to a contract. This is the invitation to treat. This is what I'm saying you're signing. If it's for a delivery of a bunch of flowers, signing a contract that's not for a delivery bunch of flowers is not a trick. Is not getting them to sign a contract, and that contract is not valid. So it's only if you say, here's the bunch of flowers and here's the contract saying you received the bunch of flowers, the two match now. Now you have a valid contract. So he's just missing the point there. But otherwise, I like him. I think he's a likable character, and I like his antics. I like he mixes probably the vibe that people don't like about TikTok, pranking and stuff like that. He mixes that vibe into it, but in a fun way. So his pranks are never like dangerous. No one's like jumping off cliffs or, gonna kill themselves. But there's that fun side of the thing that people don't like about TikTok, sort of tied into his YouTube, long form documentary, funny document. I don't even know how you describe it, but anyway, that's the point. We'll get into it. I hate it when people are cheated by business, so I wouldn't be interested. I hate it when people are cheated by businesses too, and that's exactly why I'm getting into it. Because Reckless Ben's not only being cheated by Bricks and Minifigs, but Mansell, the owner of Mansell and his father, the owner of the Lego, is being cheated by a corporation. The judge is in their pocket. To be able to even get the TRO signed by a judge, they had to have him in their pocket. It had to go way much deeper than just being cheated by a business. It's way deeper. And the cops doing all the shit that they done, this is much deeper than a business cheating people. So anyway, that's what I want to get into. We'll see how you feel. Leave a comment in the description if you want me to. Leave a comment in the comments if you want me to get into it. And if enough people are interested, we'll get into it. So that was just the 1,000-foot view. I like it. I think it's worth having a look at. Different numbers, different data to jump into. Because that's what it's got to be, to hook me. There's got to be some data. I can't just talk about a case that has no data. So that's what we're gonna see how you guys feel about it. Leave a comment if you want to, and we will catch you all on the next. I'll try to make it not as big a gap in time between videos, live streams or videos, but we'll catch you on the next round. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the mods who rocked up tonight. Thanks to everyone who stayed awake. And we'll see you on the next round.